Hi everybody, welcome to Fit for Life. Today you're going to just need a TheraBand and your chair. So let's get up and get moving. We're going to start out with our warm-up. As usual, nice high knees. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Anna. I'm an exercise specialist physiologist for the Aspen Primary Care Network here in Westlock. Please know that as you're doing this activity at home, you're doing so at your own risk, and the Aspen PCN is not liable for any type of injuries or damages that may be incurred. So please stay safe while you're exercising at home. Listen to your own body. If something feels like it's too much or not quite feeling right, there's no big deal. You're just sitting down, taking a little bit of a water break, and waiting until the next exercise. So make sure you're staying safe while you're exercising at home. Let's get nice and warmed up here. Good high knees, getting the blood flowing, getting our breath to quicken a little bit, the joints lubricated. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today, practicing doing some little jumps. Shouldn't be anything too scary. And again, first things first is you make sure you stay safe while you're doing that. We're going to do our best to walk you through it here on the video. So, feeling like we're starting to warm up there. Okay. Get your arms involved here. You can hold on to a couple little hand weights if you want while you do this. That's a nice way to add to this. Okay, and let's do our polka. Nice and light on our toes. We're going to be ready to go dancing when we're allowed to do so again. Nice and light on your feet. Good job. Staying safe, making sure we have some good supportive footwear on so we're not going to be flipping it all on the floor. It's really important. Safety first. Okay, let's do our hip swings. Nice and loose through the hip, making sure that you're not kicking anything behind you there. All right. And on the other side. Feeling good there. One side might feel a little tighter than the other one. That is perfectly normal. Just do what we can. All right. Good. And let's do our arm circles, starting small, getting bigger, bigger. Good. Getting smaller again. And let's go the other direction. Nice. Circles there. Warm up the shoulders and getting smaller. Okay? I want you to take those shoulders, squeeze them back and down. Let's just give them a wiggle. Do it again. Back, down, a little bit of a wiggle, and back, down. Resetting the posture a little bit. Okay, so we're going to work on adding a little bit of flight today. So that means we're going to do, like the board says, some leaps and some bounds. So that means we're going to do things with 1 foot first, and then we'll step up to 2 feet if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable with it, then don't do it. It's okay. All right? So, but I know that this is something that can be scary for a lot of people. So to practice it in a safe, controlled manner is always a nicer way of going about it than kind of having it sprung upon you out in the real world. Okay? So make sure that that you have your chair nearby, kitchen counter, something that you feel like you can use to hold on to should you need that. All right, so we're going to do first off a 3-point leap. So with the leap, all that means is I'm going to kind of be going onto one foot. All right, I'm doing it, pushing off of one leg, landing on the other leg. We're going to do that to 3 different points. I have my chair nearby, should I need it. I'm going to start standing, and then I'm going to jump onto my other foot. I want you to think about really absorbing that with your toe, and we're having a tiny bit of flight there. Nice and soft through the knee. You're not kind of jumping onto a stacked, locked knee. We're going to be absorbing that. All right, a little bit of a leap to the front, then try a leap to the side. Again, you can do this with a kitchen counter and try a little bit of a leap to the back as well. We're going to do that in 3 different directions now. To the front, stepping back, to the side, stepping back, and to the back, stepping back. This can be a really scary movement for a lot of people if you haven't done this in a long time, if you haven't had any impact type of exercise for a long time. A lot of individuals, especially as we age, as we start to have things like knee problems and back problems and maybe bone density issues, this can be something that a lot of people really try to avoid. But we know that when we put a stress upon the body will adapt to it and make it stronger. So how can we have that stress be appropriate, be safe, and we can build upon it in a safe way? All right, let's do it on the other foot. A few little 1-foot leaps, leaping onto that foot. All right, leaping forward. Okay, I'm absorbing nicely into that foot. I have a nice soft knee, and I feel safe when I'm doing this. Again, have something nearby to hold on to if you don't feel like your balance is quite there. That's okay. You can adjust yourself in the kitchen with the countertop if you need to. All right? So we're kind of working on safely introducing some very gentle impact here. We're working on balance, we're working on strength, we're working on a few different things. We're working on just overcoming our fears of having a bit of flight in our step. Okay, good. Next thing that we're going to do is a side lunge. I'd like to do this fairly static. So I'm going to have my chair nearby. I'm going to take that big step first. I'm going to lunge on this side, and I'm going to come down and come on back up. So it's kind of almost like a squat just on this side, coming down, coming on up. I'm going to show you guys a side view here because I'm very much reaching with my tush still like I do in our chair squats. All right, you can see that my knee stays nicely back and it's not drifting over the level of my toe. That really hurts right there. So don't do that. Make sure you're reaching with your butt. And if you only do a little bit of a mini one like that, that's fine too. If we do a little quarter lunge, just like that, we're bending this guy stays straight, really reaching back with our tush. That's gonna protect that knee rather than going like that. Make sure it's not buckling in or out or anything like that. Let's do it to the other side. Nice wide stance here. I'm gonna go this way now. Again, really reaching with my tush. My knee is nicely staying over top of my ankle and it's not drifting forward over the level of my toe. That's gonna hurt give you guys a side view here. I'm just coming onto this leg, down and up. Reaching for the seat, coming on up. Reaching, coming on up. Give your butt a little squeeze when you come up. That can help as well. Don't go quite so far down. If it's hurting your knees, don't go down so far. Just do the quarter lunge, okay? Hope you guys can see okay there. All right, really thinking about aiming for the seat. Okay? Good. Your little side lunges there. Static side lunges because we're not doing the step every time. Okay? So we just did the leaps with one foot. Now we're going to kick things up a notch and do bounds. So leaps and bounds, it sounds good. But this time we're going to go up and do it with 2 feet. Now there's a lot of things I want you to think about. We're going to still do 3 different points, but I want you to really think about being soft through your knees, all right? So before you jump anywhere, I want you to give yourself a little bit of a ready bounce. Have your kitchen counter nearby, soft through the knees, and we're going to jump forward, and we're jumping back, all right? Jumping to the side, really absorbing through the knees, and jumping back. And then see if you can jump back and jumping forward. Really stay soft in this kind of bouncing. And again, making sure that you're staying safe, having some support. Do this by the wall or something if you need to. And if 2 feet is too much, stick to the one foot leap, okay? If the 2 feet is too much. So let's try this again. Soft through the knees, jumping forward. I'm really going to aim on my toes. Jumping back, soft, to the side, soft, and back, and soft, back, and soft, forward. Really working on that shock absorption through the knees, through the feet. Everything is bouncing nice, and I'm not jarring onto that because that's going to hurt. All right? Soft, soft. So nice and soft and bouncing. Forward, lightly, back, really thinking about that quiet jump where the feet absorb that really nicely, and forward, woo, making sure you're not falling. Number 1 rule, nobody falls. And going again, forward and back and side and back and back and back. All right? So that's something you can think about trying out. Really nice little exercise in a controlled spot. You should feel safe while we're doing it. Like I said, if that's too much of a step up for you, just do onto 1 foot. But thinking about really absorbing in through the knees and in through the feet while you do that. Okay? We're gonna come on up and do some chair squats. Good old chair squats. I want you to see today if you can add in a bit of a leg lift when you do this. Again, if not, I'll go through all the different variations of the chair squat. So feet are a little bit wider than hip width apart. They're kind of the width of the chair here. We're going to aim with our tush, coming on up, squeezing your butt as you come up, and then we're going to add a knee to the opposite shoulder as we do that, if you're comfortable with that. That's kind of a harder variation. If this is too much work for you, stick to the regular chair squat. Form first, all right? When we're doing this chair squat, we should be not having any knee pain. If I'm feeling it a little bit in my legs, that's great. But see how my knees are really nicely far back? They're not collapsing in or out or anything like that. We're having really nice form there. If that's too far, if it's still not working for you, you can do the sit to stand, where you practice coming on up and coming all the way back down. Very functional movement. If that's too much, do a quarter squat. There's nothing wrong with just coming down a little bit. Squeeze your butt as you come on back up. That butt squeeze is going to do really good things in helping to recruit good muscles in through your hips. All right? Squeeze as you come up. And coming to the quarter squat. And back up. And if you can, you do that full version with the knee towards the opposite shoulder. Try not to have those legs collapsing anywhere. All right? Feels good to move. All right. Let's sit down. Okay, so we're going to use a band. First one we're going to do is a seated clamshell. And I only am going to do one leg at a time here, okay? So you're going to take that band, wrap it around above the knees, so around your thighs, just above the knees, and add some initial tension at first. You don't want to try and tighten it up when it's already on. So add some initial tension. And we're going to do one leg at a time here, and I keep my feet together while I'm doing this. We're going to hold this leg steady, and we're going to bring this knee out and make our nice little clamshell. All right, working some rotators in our glutes, well, in our hips there, some external hip rotators. All right, nice and slow on the return. This is not a race. I don't want you to sit there and just kind of bounce that band. That's not going to be nearly as effective as nice, slow, controlled movement. I would always rather you do fewer numbers, but take your time, really get good, controlled quality of movement. Okay, we should be feeling that a little bit in through the buttock, and we'll do the other side. So this time, the other knee stays still, and we're rotating in through this side, and you might notice that one side has a bit more movement or a bit more control than the other. That's fine. And coming back, nice and slow. Remembering that we get so many good benefits from that controlled release, that nice controlled eccentric contraction. Okay. A few more. The first few should feel pretty easy. By the time you get into the higher numbers, you should be starting to feel a little bit of warmth, a little bit of fatigue in through those muscles. Try and do a pause when you come out and then slowly back in. There's a lot of things that we can take from other exercises and apply them to all of our exercises in order to improve our movement. When we move better, we typically don't hurt ourselves as much. Move smarter, I should say, right? Good job. All right, we're gonna move on to shoulders. I'm gonna do a little bit of a shoulder press here, remembering if you've had a rotator cuff injury or anything like that, be careful with any above shoulder work. You might want to stay a little bit lower in front or just wait until the next exercise. We're gonna do a bit of a shoulder press here, kind of anchor the band into my abdomen. I'm starting at the shoulder. I'm gonna do a nice punch up, slowly back down, up, trying to make sure that my shoulder blades are staying in a nice position here and that I'm not hauling on up like that, okay? We're going to do nice posture, squeeze those shoulders back and down, and good posture, slow and controlled as always with this band. I can feel that I am I'm using the blue one and not the green one. Remember, our blue TheraBands are a little bit heavier than our green. Think about the strength of band you have. Maybe you have only a black band at home, and that might be a little bit too heavy to do this above shoulder work. Be safe. Pain does not equal gain. Let's move smart. Holding that band to your abdomen with the other hand, we're going to start at the shoulder now and coming on up. Good posture. Nice little shoulder press up in the air. We're doing our best here with minimal equipment. Right? We're doing our best to keep moving while we're at home. It's important to keep good habits going. Back down. Nice and slow and controlled. Okay. Good shoulder posture. Starting to feel some fatigue. Great job. All right, a little bit of an easier one. We're gonna go on to our seated row. I loop that band around my feet now. Bringing the heels in front of me and nice straight lines. Squeezing those shoulder blades together as I row that boat nicely back. I'm gonna give you guys the side view here. I sit fairly forward in my seat for this one. And I'm really making sure that my posture's staying good and I'm not yanking up like this or like that, okay? Really trying to make sure that this is coming from the shoulder blades. This exercise is coming from the back. I am squeezing together, drawing those elbows back and keeping my shoulders down. They're not drifting up towards my ears. Pause and coming on back. Good. A few more. Nice and slow. Rowing that boat. Okay. Last one. Wonderful. Opposite of that, I'm going to stay in the side view here, is going to be the chest press. So we take that band, loop it behind our backs. I like to tuck it underneath my arms. And I'm going to start right close to the armpits here. Posture stays really good. And we're going to push straight out, coming on back. Pushing out, slowly back. Remember, if we're rushing through this, we're not getting the same benefits, okay? And you're making yourself more prone to injury. So really slow down your movement. Good quality of movement. Quality over quantity for sure. I'm making sure that my posture is good. My shoulders are not rolling forward. I'm not starting to have these shoulders hike up towards my ears. They're still in a nice position, back and down along my spine. Good quality of movement. Awesome. All right, let's do our bicep curls. For the bicep curls now, I'm going to bring that band underneath my feet. I'm going to stay in the side view for you here. So you can see I'm starting with my arms quite straight and my elbows are going to stay tucked is the most important thing here as I curl those hands up, slowly back down. Very common mistake that IP people see is they hoist, right? They're gonna come on up. I want you to keep those elbows tucked, coming on up, slowly release, control that eccentric contraction, that contraction where the muscle is still having to contract, but it's also lengthening. It's a lengthening control, lengthening force. All right, lots of benefits had in that eccentric contraction. You can add people dropping weights in the gym to my long list of pet peeves. Okay, good job, slow and controlled. Last couple here, keeping those elbows tucked. All right, let's do our triceps. So with our triceps, you're gonna take that band in one hand, you're gonna anchor it across to the other shoulder. I like to take one of the tails, but if you find that it's really easy for you, you could take both and double up your resistance there. Elbow stays tucked, and you're going to come down, straightening out that elbow, pressing down. All right. Good control of your release. Good posture. That shoulder is not drifting up towards our ears. We're not swinging back anywhere. We are nice and controlled. All right. Let's do the other side. So taking the band in your other hand, anchoring it across to your other shoulder. Nice high grip and keeping the elbow tucked, going straight down and coming on back. Good control, good posture, feeling good. There. Nice, smooth, controlled movement. Try to pause at the bottom and then control the release. Again, if you're sitting there bouncing the band around, you're not getting the same benefits and you're putting yourself at risk for injury. So nice and slow and controlled. Okay. Good job. All right, so we're gonna put the band to the side and we're going to do our core exercise. I'm gonna try and make it so you guys can see what I'm doing here. We're gonna do a little bit of oblique work here today. So this is kind of the take on a bit of a Russian twist or crossbody biker. I'm going to suggest you keep a heel on the floor because again, I would rather you stabilize yourself a little bit and have better posture. It's going to be a little bit safer for your back. I want you to think first, think of that corset doing up. Nice TA contraction there, having everything nice and supported in through there. We're going to semi-recline and we're going to have our heels on the floor. Now I'm going to put my hands, I think, across my chest today. I'm going to bring a knee up. I'm going to twist. And you can see this is not coming from my shoulders. I'm going to draw that knee towards the elbow. I'm still semi-reclined. I'm not reaching like this, all right? I'm very much twisting from my lower portion of my torso here, all right? So slow and controlled, semi-reclined. You can make this a little easier by sitting up a little bit straighter. You can do this if it's really easy for you. You could do this on the floor as well and do it quite semi-reclined. But we're really thinking about that twist coming from the lower abdomen, hold, and coming on back. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure this twist is not coming from that upper thoracic spine. It's coming from here, okay? Hold and coming back. Remember to breathe and coming back. This is a great little exercise for those oblique muscles. Good work here. We should start to feel it getting a little sore, a little fatigued. And let's do one more. Nice and slow. Pause. Woo, and coming on back. So feeling some good work in through there, especially by the time you're getting to the later reps. All right, so let's get into our balance work. As usual, we're going to start off with our tandem stand. So checking in and seeing how you're feeling. We have a chair or a counter or a wall or something nearby for support. I want you to stand nicely heel to toe and see how you're feeling. Are you able to do this without any support? Can you use less and less fingers on your support? How even do your hips feel? Give yourself a little bit of a weight transfer there from the front foot to the back foot. Feeling pretty comfortable there. Let's try the other side, standing heel to toe, making sure that you feel safe and secure. You have a prop nearby to hold on to should you need it. Now, if you're relying really heavily on props, I challenge you to try. You've got a full hand on the chair. Try and see if you can do it with less and less fingers until you just have one finger on and see how you do. Okay, that's a way that you can progress or challenge yourself if you're still relying heavily on props. So let's go on to one foot. I want you to think about really planting the four corners of that foot down, coming up onto one leg, and then again checking your hips to see that you're not sagging and that you are engaged and straight in through those hips. Check and see if that knee is able to swing around, okay? And I want you, today, we're gonna confuse the brain a little bit. I want you to bring this knee up, and then I want you to see if you can bring, while we're bringing this knee out, we're gonna look over to the other side, all right? So have your prop nearby if you need it. While you're bringing the knee out, I want you to look over the other shoulder, and then bringing that knee back and coming back in. We're starting to get things a little confusing here, but it's a good challenge, right? So having your prop nearby should you need it. Other foot, ground that foot. All four corners of your feet, think the two front parts of the ball of your foot and then the two back corners of your heel as well. Keep that leg soft, keeping this leg soft. Check to make sure that your hips are engaged and you're not falling and through that hip. And we're going to bring that knee up. And while we bring it out to the side, we're going to look over the other shoulder, hold, and slowly coming on back. Again, I challenge you to slowly return, because when we kind of just spring back and fall out of it, we're losing some of those benefits. So really, really slow it down. Okay. So you guys can practice that more on your own if you want to. Balance is really fun to play with and try out new and different things. So let's do some stretches. Stretching that calf. We're going to keep that heel on the floor, leaning into that front leg. Nice stretch. Here my knee is pretty straight. You can have a little bit of a bend to it if you want. You're going to be targeting bit of a different muscle than when your knee is totally straight. Other side. You have two big calf muscles that go into that big Achilles tendon at the back of your heel, and you can target one or the other by having a tiny bit of a knee bend or by having a very straight knee when doing this stretch. So, other side again. Really important to stretch out our calves. It is very hard to find athletic footwear that doesn't have a heel rise, and most of us have a heel rise in our leisure footwear as well. So that all contributes to shortened calves, and you know, if there's problems at the bottom, it's the kinetic chain all the way up to the top. So it's important to keep stretching your calves. All right, let's do our next stretch. We'll take this arm, place it behind my back. If you can't do that because of a shoulder issue, you can just keep it down along the chair or even holding on to the bottom of the chair. And we're going to bring this ear to the shoulder and then providing a little bit of overpressure if it's comfortable. If it's not comfortable, don't do it. Most of our heads are very heavy in the first place. So if that doesn't feel good, don't do it. Switch sides. Sometimes it's really nice to provide a little bit of guidance with the other hand. Big stretch in through the upper traps. Other side. These guys are so commonly tight and cranky. And the other side. Good. We're going to do a little bit of a stretch for our upper back. I don't usually do this because most of us have very forward posture anyways, but sometimes this guy can feel really good, so I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to clasp our hands in front of us. We're going to really push those hands forward, rolling our shoulders forward, and then tucking your chin down towards your chest. Keep those hands pushing forward. Big stretch across the back of the shoulder blades. Coming on out slowly. I want you to roll those shoulders back and down, counteract that forward roll. We're going to do it again, taking those hands in front. I'm going to show you guys a side view here, kind of diagonal. Taking those hands, pushing forward, and then I'm going to tuck my chin down towards my chest, feeling a big stretch across the upper back. Okay, slowly coming out of that one and rolling those shoulders back and down a few times. All right, let's do our twist. Going to use the back of my chair to incorporate the chest here a little bit, get a bit of a stretch across that chest as I reach for the back of the chair, including the chest as we get a nice twist from our seat all the way to our crown. We are getting a good practice on that shoulder check. And the other way. Good job with that. All right, let's stretch out our glutes. So if you have problems with this one, we're going to go over one that's a little bit different today. I think I've done this once before, but if you're feeling some intense joint pain with this one, it's a great stretch because we really get to focus on good posture. But some people aren't quite able to do it because of different things going on in the hip. So instead this time, we're going to sit a little bit further back in our chairs, a little bit more supported. I'm going to bring this foot across the knee, but I'm going to hold this knee up and hug it towards my chest, towards the opposite shoulder. I'm going to try and sit as tall as I can. And as I draw this knee towards the opposite shoulder, I'm going to twist slightly, but I'm going for a big pull in through here. So keep those shoulders down, don't be hunching them up. Try and stay good with your posture as good as you can. Drawing this knee towards the opposite shoulder and twisting away. So twisting, I guess, in towards that side. We're bringing this one this way and we're bringing that guy that way. If that makes any sense. All right, let's do the other side. Knee or ankle across the knee. And then bringing this knee towards the opposite shoulder and twisting towards that side. Big stretch in through here. I definitely feel it more on the left side here. Breathing into that. Trying to keep your posture as good as possible. It's a little tougher to maintain that good posture here, but if there is stuff going on in that hip joint, you might feel more comfortable doing this one, okay? So other side, nice stretch for the piriformis here. That's a really lovely little muscle in your butt that lies in very close proximity to the sciatic nerve. Usually lies just on top of the sciatic nerve, but sometimes the nerve can actually be on top of the muscle or even pierce through the muscle. So when that guy gets cranky, quite often we see pain in through the glutes and even down the back of the leg. So this is a nice stretch for that piriformis. Okay, great job. And let's finish off with our hamstrings as usual. We're going to plant the heel in front of us, engage the toe towards us, sitting nice and tall, and I'm going to hinge forward at the hip, making sure that I'm not collapsing through my back. Nice and tall, good posture, so important. If you're not feeling anything, make sure you're at the front of your seat, because if you're too far back, you're not going to feel it, because you're going to have too much of a bend in that leg. So sitting forward in the seat, plant the heel, engage the toe, sitting tall and hinging with the chest very open here. I'm hinging at the hip, kind of thinking about that belly button drawing forward. Okay, other side, plant the heel, engage the toe, sitting tall, hinging. And last one, plant the heel, engage the toe, sitting tall, lean forward. Okay, so I hope this went well for you guys today. A little bit of some different stuff. It's fun to keep it a little bit different. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to contact us at the office, drop a comment. However you want to try and get a hold of us, we will try our best to help you out. If you have some problems or concerns that might need a little bit more one-on-one attention or assessment, talk to your doctor about coming to see us here or see a physiotherapist or somebody that can help you with that. I'm going to try and keep videos coming every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock. I'll do my best to post new stuff. Once they're up, so you guys can watch at your own convenience. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks so much for joining us. Take care.